All right, our final speaker today is an incredibly important person to me. She's a loyal friend and a fierce activist. She is here to speak to you all about her experiences as a trans woman fighting for LGBTQ rights here in this current America. Please give it up for Arden Nadine.
Okay, hi everyone. So I'm Arden. I'm really no one special. I'm just another trans woman and activist in your community. And thank you. And I'm here today to talk to y'all about transness and queerness in the current political climate. So before the Trump administration took over, back in the days where Obama was extending Title VII and Title IX protections to trans and queer folk, you know, and around the same time that same-sex marriages were federally legalized, I think we saw a light at the end of the tunnel, and that we kind of felt like our fight for rights was almost over. I certainly felt that way. And we became complacent. And despite Mr. Trump claiming to be the biggest advocate of LGBTQ rights, his actions, such as his attempts to revoke those extensions on Title VII and Title IX, as well as the trans military ban and many other things we could talk about, make one thing very clear: we have a lot more work to do. Just last month, my friend, or event organizer, Lauren, and I went to Boston to protest the Straight Pride Parade. We were met with an army of police officers in full riot gear who were prepared to face us. They aggressively pinned protesters to the ground and pepper sprayed the crowds to arrest protesters on completely arbitrary charges, and fought to protect the people who were carrying signs that were questioning the worth of the lives of the non-white, non-cis, non-straight Americans. They had no actual case with which to charge these protesters, yet that didn't stop them. The event was followed by completely unethical arraignment hearings. But before you start feeling like the fight ahead of us is long and hopeless, I want to take a moment to turn the lens back in on ourselves and our side of this fight. You know, I think there's been a lot of great things that have come from the speakers before me today. But I want to ask ourselves, you know, what exactly is it that the far right is doing that we're fighting so hard against? You know, why are we fighting? I'm sure we could spend all day pulling apart the nuance of our motivations, but I think at the core it feels like the far right's no longer fighting for state rights or personal responsibility, but enforcing a completely arbitrary dogma to retain their place at the top of our social food chain. You know, and our fear is justified. Our president called protesters in Charlottesville a few years ago very fine people, yet he calls anti-fascist terrorists. That's scary, and we deserve better. But we need to tread carefully so that we don't find ourselves slipping down the slippery slope into our own dogmatic rule. I love the communities that I'm a part of, the hardworking Democrats, and the queer and trans folk who have become my family. But let's face it, we have a bit of a toxicity problem sometimes. You know, when our idea of utopia or allyship doesn't align perfectly, we attack each other with ad hominems or block each other from our Twitter sphere. And while we can block each other, we can't revoke someone's right to vote. I think we need to move forward into an era of radical, rational compassion, one that acknowledges the humanity of mistakes and the strength that we have when we work together. You know, I'm not asking you to hold hands with racists and transphobes, but I do want you to accept apologies made in earnest and to be willing to try and educate and try and move us forward together. Before I wrote this speech, I was doing a lot of personal information, and then I started speaking to trans people that I know, and I think one thing is very clear is that we are suffering and we need unity. We want to be a part of this country and of you all, and we want to fight with you. We need to stop being distracted by red herrings and online trolls when there are real efforts to cement our rights in legislation like the Equality Act or like adding gender-neutral designations to Rhode Island ID that have a colossal impact on public opinion. But truthfully, I'm not sure that any of us will see the end of this fight in our lifetime. But I'm ready to pick up the mantle that was carried here by the brave queer folk who came before us and fought to get us where we are. And it starts with this, rallying together. And it ends at the polls. Because the fact is, the majority of Americans support our right. And our one true power we have in this democracy is to vote. If we show up, we win. So I hope you'll show up with me. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening and witnessing these incredible stories. This concludes the speaking program today. I encourage you all to stay, visit the tables set up, and enjoy the community. Introduce yourself to others, talk about your experience, and get ready to move forward with this movement. We are going to take our country back in 2020. We're going to do this together. All right, we're gonna do one more call and response, all right? After what I say, you're going to say, stand up, fight back, all right? When reproductive rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When trans lives